that's curious. Look at that stream of light. Camera's not. There we go. It's gone now. It's just at the right angle. While I was sitting there, I couldn't. Oh, that's fascinating. Wow. I just cleaned this lens too, by the way. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just think that's amazing and beautiful. And I don't believe in coincidences, and I do believe that light carries information. But none of that is what I turned on the camera to say. More rambling. That's all this ever is. Just on this day especially, I want to focus on peace, and I want to just put the energy of peace and stability and security out there. Today, at the date of recording, is Election Day in America, 2024. This one is substantial. The rest of the world is aware of this as well. And I don't want to make any other statements around that other than that there's a lot of fear. There's just a lot of fear and instability in the air. And I just looked up, and the person behind me is, I think, singing, but very emotively. And I thought she was yelling for a second. There's a hawk flying overhead. My focus is scattered, clearly, but diffused in a pleasant way. Because I don't think it needs to be hyper right now. I don't think it needs to be sharp. I think allowing it to be relaxed is inviting ease. And that's something that I want to do. Invite ease, relaxation, that sensation, tapping into the knowledge of well-being, the security of all. And I just, in thinking about this and musing about this, was noticing, and I've had this lifelong struggle, really, and I know I'm very much not alone in this, with being myself. And there's layers to that. It comes back to really inhabiting this body, to taking this form, to taking on this form and accepting this form as the focus of awareness that it is. And it's easy for me to get distracted by asking why. Why have I spent so long disembodied? Why have I spent so long not feeling like myself, not being myself? Why has that been such a challenge? But I don't find that helpful anymore. And I feel that this is fundamentally the challenge of incarnation. When we come from being connected and intimately, acutely aware of our infinite nature, acutely aware of the true nature, aware of our well-being, aware of our being all, and we enter into this realm, which is so dramatically different and in many ways presents an opposite experience, which is what we wanted. It's by design. It is by design, one way or another. I know that there are all kinds of discussions about why it is this way, and I am not not here to discredit any of them. It is just my perspective, my understanding that underneath all of that, I'm not saying any of those stories around Earth being a school or whatever this inverted false matrix, the fear traps, archons, lizard people. I actually allow for anything to be possible because that's how I fundamentally believe that existence works. Anything is possible. For me to say that's not possible is really not true, and it's just a limitation of experience. And I do believe that reality is what we make it to be, and when we believe in things like that, there's a reason for it, and we feed into that existence. But fundamentally, underneath everything, whatever story is told, consciousness is still running the show. Nothing takes place that is not desired. That's just the way that it is. Nothing at any level of existence takes place that is not desired and permitted. And yes, some of it is permitted with unconsciousness, permitted by unconsciousness, but even that, there's a deeper level of consciousness that is permitting the unconsciousness. Nothing is an accident. Nothing is going wrong. All of this has always been by design. You peel it back to the deepest layer, and at the deepest layer of existence, consciousness, which we are, is celebrating, is having a fucking party all the time, is loving all of this, every level of experience, the complexity. Oh my God, the complexity, the intensity, the contrast. Holy Moses. It's amazing, and it's exactly what we want. All of that is kind of a tangent. I'm feeling I've spent so long disembodied, and it still happens. It's still happening. It's still happening. I've realized that it was easier for me to become embodied when nothing was challenging it, which makes sense, right? The same way that it's significantly easier to find peace and feel secure and embodied and enlightened when you go out by yourself into nature, when you are in a secluded place, when you're someplace like a monastery where actually things are pretty much taken care of. You have some chores, you do these things, you have no concern. There's nothing that could lure you into concern, really. It is a tremendous challenge to discover and maintain secure, relaxed embodiment in the rest of the world. The rest of the world where things are constantly happening. Things are constantly challenging you, demanding your attention. You are presented every moment with something that could distract you, that could pull you into fear, into diminishment, that could present what is perceived by the ego as a threat and become disembodied as a defense mechanism. It is a tremendous challenge in this world, and again, this is what I think is the crux, the foundation of the challenge of incarnation. To come forth as this soft, squishy, vulnerable, innocent soul, knowing and trusting, and to stay in touch with that, really lose it and come back to it. In this world that is so sharp, it is so full of jagged edges and hard surfaces. Everything is a rock in a hard place. And to deliberately choose innocent trust, to choose vulnerability, to choose to be fully this, to choose the experience of limitation while knowing that you are unlimited, to allow that which is unlimited to appear to be outside of you, yet maintain this awareness that it is within you and accessed within you. To accept the limitations of this experience. We are here to experience it. The world of form, inherently unstable, and yet find a way to tap into the feeling and therefore the experience, because what you are feeling is your experience. You're experiencing it. Tap into the experience of this deeper level of expansiveness, unlimitedness, security, well-being, even while faced with simultaneously the experience of the opposite. What an incredible challenge that is. What a mind-bending, expanding experience, certainly. To hold within us two experiences that appear absolutely opposite, that appear as if there is no way they could possibly coexist. And to recognize from there, we actually have a choice which one we want to give our attention to, and therefore which one we want to experience more deeply. So I can be in the physical realm with its serrated edges, and I can be experiencing limitation, what feels like, and by all material appearance, what feels like lack of well-being, lack of security, lack of freedom. But I can choose to tap into what I know to be true. I can choose to use that contrast as guidance the way that it is intended, to actually point me, to actually reveal the falsehood of this experience. It's giving itself away in the way that I am interacting with it, in the way that I am experiencing it. My very discomfort in it is pointing me towards something, and that is the truth. It's reminding me, it's helping me find my way home. It is helping me find my way back to my knowledge of what actually is at a deeper level, and it's not a denial of what is at this level. That's what's so amazing about it. It's inclusive, it's just underneath. It's the awareness that this isn't all of it. There is something deeper, there is a bigger picture. And if I look at this picture and I listen to it, the smaller one, I can see actually that it is reflecting in an inverted manner. It is an inversion of the bigger picture. But if I have that knowledge, I have that information, I can see clearly, I can allow it to direct me to the bigger picture, and I'm seeing directly to that. It's actually revealing true nature to me in its opposition of it. And when I learn to see it that way, when I learn that I can use my inner eye, because our physical eyes are doing this all the time, right? They're flipping things around. We have all these reflections. Images come in upside down, and we just naturally interpret them we flip them over. The brain flips them over because it's used to it. There are all kinds of studies. If you there are these special glasses, right, that were invented to study this, that invert the image. So they have tiny mirrors in them. You put on the glasses and everything gets flipped upside down. And so what you're looking at is the world upside down. But if you wear them for long enough, your brain will adapt and start to reverse that image. It's fascinating. And if you take them off again, it does the same thing. So what we're learning is how we do this with the inner eye. This is something we have to do on purpose. We're teaching ourselves this. We're learning that we can perceive the world the same way by recognizing there's another inversion taking place here that is not just the visual one. The nature of existence, in many ways, is inverted here. I mean, the separation, the experience of separation. The very notion that we could exist in competition, that there could be a finiteness. I don't know the word for it. Those things are the opposite of what is true, right? And we can learn by perceiving them and then feeling the way that feels to perceive them. We can learn that they are pointing us, they need to be flipped. We develop discernment, which is this compass that is really telling us what is true at a deeper level. And so when we come up against something that is intense contrast and we do not like it, we feel that immediate visceral, and I mean deep visceral, this is not ego level, And yes, at a deeper level, we are enjoying it. We are excited by it because it's teaching us to hone our discernment. So, I mean, yes, even the reaction to it has there's a deeper, truer response that is always joy. It is always joy. But the rejection component, the resistance is still important. Feeling that, we're not meant to dwell in the resistance. We're meant to recognize, oh, this is giving me information. This is my guidance system. This is showing me what's actually true. When I come up against hatred and it feels so awful, it's because I am learning, oh yeah, the true nature is love. And it's not that something is wrong here. It's that this whole experience was designed to help me see the true nature with a clarity that I could not have achieved otherwise. I required this contrast to develop an intensity of clarity that was and is desired. All of this, every component of this experience is desired. And what I desired most is the contrast that would let me really shift into a heightened focus, a heightened awareness of truth. The truth of love. When I come up against hate and I feel what that feels like, I am pointed towards the truth of love. When I come up against lack in any form, lack of freedom, lack of resources, lack of time, lack of well-being or energy, when I come up against lack and I feel the discomfort of this limitation and I'm writhing against it, this is my learning moment. This is where I teach myself to see the other side. This is pointing me towards something. This pain is pointing me towards the truth. It feels so bad because It's against the grain of the true nature of reality. Reality is exposing itself to me. In this moment, I just have to understand it's doing it in an inverted way. So it's up to me to realize, oh, this is so uncomfortable because the true nature is abundance. And now I teach myself to see that, and when I see lack, I know that it's veiled abundance. I know that experience, that perception of lack exists because abundance is the foundation underneath it. And the more I practice this, the more I learn to just see automatically, the same way my brain is automatically flipping images for me. I am teaching my inner eye to see lack as abundance, to just do that flipping. And now it doesn't matter what I perceive. I am seeing, I am feeling, and by feeling, I am experiencing the abundance underneath. The abundance of love, the abundance of peace, the abundance of stability, security, well-being, the abundance of worthiness, the abundance of joy, the absolute abundance of fucking freedom. The connectedness. Now I'm perceiving again the connectedness of all. Underneath the separation, the experience of separation is just honing the clarity of my awareness of interconnectedness. And now I am making a choice. Now I know I have the key. I know how to tap into security in myself. And when I was insecure in this world, I became small as a result. And what I mean is diminished. What I mean is I didn't stay in my body because it didn't feel safe. Now I know how to tap into the security. Now I know how to tap into the truth. It happens in here. And now I get to radiate that truth. And a part of that, a big part, is coming back in, coming back home in here, and choosing to be consciously this self. Yes, I am aware of myself as all, but I am in this experience to experience individual. And I know that my experience of individual does not prevent me from my experience of connection. In fact, it allows me a deeper level of connection. When I trust all else to be itself, I can be fully this self. Yes, I know it's all me, but I don't have to wrangle it. I don't have to wrangle it. I am trusting the whole of being that is expressing individually. Knowing that this consciousness came forth into this specific, unique, physical, manifested form to have a unique experience of individual perspective. And I am safe to do that. I am safe to be me and allow everyone and everything else to be itself. Yes, I know we're all the same self. That's not the point of this experience. And the more deeply I allow myself to be embodied in this form that it knows will shift, will change, will transition in so many ways. The more I trust that, the more deeply I embody, the more of that self streams forth here. more intensely conscious the experience becomes, the more clarity I gain. It's just more. The expansion is tenfold, and then I'm really doing what I intended when I came here, and that is to be myself. That's it. That's it. That is really the whole of my intention in this life experience, is to be myself. And it is challenging to be this vulnerable self, to trust all other self to be, to stop trying to control, stop trying to manipulate, and just trust, have faith, allow it to happen. But the more I do, the more fun I have, the more alive I feel. I know that. I know that. When I have left my body for some time and then I find myself back in it, it is like waking up. I feel like I've woken up. Like I've been, oh my God, have I been in this dream state where I really thought I was present. I thought I was engaged, but I wasn't fully in this body and allowing all others to be in their own bodies and unique. I wasn't allowing the separation, the experience of separation. I felt safer. I learned from a very early age that it felt safer to be everyone and everything else. But that's such a diminished form of living that I'm spreading my light, which is intended to be focused here, across everything. And there's a benefit to diffusing focus, certainly. But it tremendously diminishes sensation. And I came here for clarity. I came here for the intensity that this experience provides. And I know I feel most alive and most vibrant when I am just being myself. When I am being myself, listening to the trees, not being the trees speaking to me. Does that make sense? When I am being myself with my partner, not being us. There's an awareness of our connection, of our sameness. But I feel that I experience it most vibrantly when I am focused my own energy in this form exclusively. When the fullness of my focus is here, directed, not out there kind of floating around, picking up all this information. And is it any wonder that I feel overstimulated all the time, if that's what I'm used to being out here, picking up everything, listening to everything, feeling everything, instead of letting that experience belong to everything else and just staying within myself, focusing on my singular experience. Wondering if there's a different meaning to singularity that I haven't quite picked up on yet. Anyway, I have something I need to do, but it's time to come home here. It's a challenge. It is a huge challenge, and there's no shame when it's departed from. But God, I know it feels good to come back in here and to really be in myself and being myself. I know that feels the best. I know that feels the best. Doesn't feel safe all the time. But it's a choice to do it anyway. And to trust that it is safe, that I am secure in a deeper way. Anyway, I think that's enough. That'll do, pig. Have a wonderful day. I love you. And all is absolutely fucking well. You know it. You know it. Take it easy.